Hello, friends and gamers. Thanks for listening and watching on YouTube and wherever else you found this video streaming over the interwebs. So today's video is about, and podcast, is about troll videos. Troll videos are very popular on YouTube, as it were. And since it's a YouTube Tuesday, I found this topic to be appropriate for today. Polygon.com, a very good video gaming blog, has an article up today, and I believe you can find this article on several different gaming blogs today, and yesterday, and probably the day before. And it's about Minecraft and trolling videos for Minecraft. So apparently there's this guy, this YouTuber, who's, I don't know, somewhat successful. And what does somewhat successful even mean, by the way, as far as YouTube videos goes? 10,000 views per video? 1 million subscribers, 500,000 subscribers. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of that. I do this for free, for the lulz, I suppose. So about this Minecraft YouTuber, John ZexyZek Morin. Okay, so go ahead and search him on the interwebs. Find his Minecraft trolling videos. So apparently he started not that long ago, actually. Maybe 6-7 months ago. Or maybe it was more than a year. I'm not sure. I don't have the details. I'm not a real journalist. But what he does is he basically goes into servers and he starts wrecking stuff. He destroys people's houses. He locks them in rooms. He just causes mayhem. And of course, if you've ever watched a trolling video of video game gameplay, the funny is people's reactions. And they get really upset. Granted, the people who are getting the most upset are probably 13-year-olds and 12-year-old boys. And I don't know if you remember being that age or if you are that age. You're probably not aware of how ridiculous you sound whenever you're screaming at a Celine Dion type pitch about your favorite Minecraft room got destroyed. It's embarrassing and it's kind of funny. It's only funny in that if you're older, you can laugh at it because you've been there. You know what it's like for your friend to ruin whatever it is you were working on. I remember being a kid, and back in the days before the interweb, we used to go outside and play with the tree houses and the forts and stuff, and we had sticks for guns. And it wasn't this paintball stuff. No, you knew that you shot the other guy because you'd run up behind him with a stick and you just poke him in the back. And that's how we played tag. That's how I grew up playing War in the Wood. That was my Call of Duty. In fact, when I joined the Marine Corps in boot camp, they teach you how to make all these like weird booby trap type stuff. Punji pits. You dig a hole and you basically fill the bottom of the hole with sticks so that then you cover it up with some loose twigs and some grass and leaves so that you don't notice there's a hole there. It's camouflaged. When you walk over it, your foot's going to sink in and then get punctured by these sticks. If you watch the movie First Blood with Sylvester Stallone, I think he makes some of those, some very large punji pits. But we were doing that as kids, like 9 and 10 years old, playing in the backyard. Those were our games that we played. And when I talk about the rage, we had rage. If you were building your fort and then the other team like snuck up behind you and just trashed the place, we would go into like little rages. Did we call each other trolls? No, that was just playing. That was playing in the woods. Wrecking somebody else's day was just fun. Maybe we were just an entire generation of bullies. I'm not sure. But no one got hurt. No one was harmed. I think everybody ended up being well-adjusted. If you had any pent-up rage, you just joined sports. You played football or wrestling. Some activity where you actually got to hit somebody else. But anyway, I digress. The trolling videos. So this guy, ZexyZek, he's really popular. He's doing some troll videos for Minecraft, making these little 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds go berserk. And he's actually proactive. He takes it upon himself to call up Mojang, the makers of Minecraft, and say, hey, I just noticed in your terms of use that you're not supposed to use the gameplay video for trolling. Asks if it's all right. And their response was, well, actually, that is letter of the law. It does state that. So, right. Now, according to Mojang, They did not tell him to take down his videos or to stop making videos. But he took it upon himself. Again, he was very proactive. He took it upon himself to go ahead and issue a video to his fans and subscribers and say, you know what, my trolling videos the series is over. He stated this terms of use that Minecraft is not meant to be used for trolling and harassing of other players. Now, what follows is typical fan outrage, the real nature of internet trolling. What happened next was the fans and subscribers of ZexyZek then start inundating the inboxes and voicemails of employees at Mojang, threatening them, just general harassment. Because in their eyes, their favorite YouTuber was unjustly smacked down by the corporate behemoth that are the makers of Minecraft. Now, as the story unfolds, and again, you can read this over at Polygon, Mojang ends up issuing an additional apology saying, hey, look, we never intended for him to take down his videos. We apologize for any confusion, and ZexyZek is free to continue making these troll videos. And in the meantime, we are going to revise our policy and provide a more specific definition of trolling. Now, what that ends up being, I don't know. But it raises some very interesting questions because clearly trolling and harassing other players online is not a good marketing campaign if you're going to sell a video game and you want every single customer to enjoy the experience. And the nature of YouTube and content creators, I've talked about this before. It only makes sense for companies to allow you to use their product if you are helping them, if it suits their needs. You know, if I'm going to eat a Snickers bar and tell you how much I love Snickers and I can't do YouTube videos without Snickers, and I become somewhat popular on YouTube, don't you think it's in Snickers' best interest then to support me? Because I'm advertising their product. They realize now I'm an influencer online and in social media, and therefore they can just send me free stuff. I'll be so, ingratiated by them that I will continue to talk about their product. And this is how it works. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that do this sort of thing. Watch the PBS documentary on Generation Likes by Douglas Rushkoff, and you'll find out more. But getting back to the point at hand, the troll videos. Is it okay? Is it bad? I'm a huge fan of one YouTuber named The Goon on Fire. And I discovered him when I guess he was relatively small. He had a following. He had his format down, and he basically goes online and he does some trolling. He does weird character voices. I've written about him a couple of times. I really like this guy because he's putting on an act. And I think what he pulls out of other people is some of the ugliest and nastiness that exists inside of every video gamer. The type of stuff that fuels those idiotic scientific reports about how video games incite violence. Okay? He gets people to behave in a way that would make you believe that, yes, if you play a video game, you're going to turn into a rage monster and go, I don't know, shoot up your post office. Which is absolutely absurd, by the way, and I would be completely against that. Just yell into a pillow for crying out loud if you've got rage, or go lift some weights or something. But do you even lift, bro? So he's a YouTuber that does voices, and his voices are always of the nature so that he seems smaller, more insignificant than you. A higher pitched voice, maybe a lisp. He will try and behave either. He's trying to be condescending and use large words, those SAT type words, but that you realize he must be a little kid and he's trying to impress, or he doesn't have a good grasp on the English language. Maybe he's a foreigner, and he just brings out the worst in people, and that's what's funny. It's like watching Family Guy. It's kind of like what Seth MacFarlane tries to do. Let's show you the worst of American culture and how we can behave. And let's laugh at it because we should really be aware of how ridiculous some of our cultural tropes are. So, and maybe I used that word improperly, but I don't care. So I like Good on Fire, but recently he was on Twitter and he was explaining that someone was harassing him, telling him that they've reported him to Rockstar for trolling. And it got me thinking. Now, Minecraft has been proactive, along with their YouTuber, ZexyZek, and addressing, hey, is this type of video okay? And they solved their problem. It was kind of a dust-up at first, but believe me when I say it, from a public relations and public affairs standpoint, that Minecraft did it the right way, and other companies would be best advised to study how Minecraft is treating their community and responding to issues, and take note of that, and send out memorandums to all of their community managers and their public relations departments. That's just some free advice from from this guy. So I just worried about Goon. Will Rockstar do the same thing? Well, because terms of service are there for a reason. And like I said, you have to realize if you're using these videos, it has to promote their product. Maybe he should be cautious and be a little bit more careful if you're doing videos like this, to show that it's all in good fun and the people participating in the troll, the marks, that they're in on it, or at least they've been made aware of the video at the very end and they've consented in some way to their voices and the gameplay being used in a YouTube video. Much like you would see in like a practical joke show, like what was that Ashton Kutcher thing a while back, or years and years ago? Punk'd, I think. I don't know. So I think terms of service are important, and you have to adhere to them. Fair use is not your get out of jail free card that you can just use video game footage for your YouTube and claim fair use. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. And the bottom line, it's up to interpretation. It's up to a judge to decide. And really, what it comes down to is if you're doing the company a favor and giving them free marketing and showing the product in a good light and bringing, if you're helping them make money basically, or save them money, they're not going to have a problem. If you're being too overly critical, that could be, confused as defamation, slander, all those types of things. If you are making the game enjoyable for other players and then publishing that, exposing glitches that make the game unplayable, they are not going to be happy about those videos. It means they have a legal right to come after you and make you take down those videos. Whether they choose to do so, now we're getting to this more like community manager, public relations, how does social media work? We're kind of getting to this new age, this new social media industry. How do companies respond? Cliff Bleszinski, that co-creator of Gears of War, who has been really outspoken about how much he just does not like how Gears of War turned out, but a great game designer and a very interesting personality nonetheless. He spoke in an interview on gamasutra.com and was then picked up by GameSpot.com. And he talked about how when he starts his new studio, the first person he's hiring is a community manager. And he even cited Minecraft and Mojang as being one of the few studios that gets it. That the idea of putting out a big AAA title and having a big E3 reveal and getting an exclusive magazine cover for a video game magazine like Game Informer, that those days are over. That you need to start leveraging new media. And that building your community has to be some sort of organic, spontaneous event. You have to have engagement. You can't just show pictures of your product in flashy colors and commercials to get people to enjoy the game. You actually need to engage them. Talk to them, allow them to discover the game, and as a developer, they're then supposed to take immediate feedback and start tweaking the game. Cliff Bleszinski basically said, put the game out there and then build it. And that's the Minecraft model. Push the game out. Don't worry about tutorials and teaching people how to play. Let the early adopters figure out how to play the game. They'll make their YouTube videos. They'll go on Reddit. They'll start their own communities, and then you, as the developer, you need to tap into that and engage. I think that's really great advice. I really do. So how does that play into troll videos? Well, a troll video, for Goon on Fire, Rockstar shouldn't have an issue, but they might. And you can't predict the future, so you don't know what they're going to do. But maybe you should take a lesson from some of these other YouTubers and try and promote some more aspects about the game. That's just what I would do, and I like Goon. I don't want his channel to get taken down. Not that I think it will, but if it were to happen, I would feel a little bit upset. But then there's guys like Minnesota Burns. So I spent, I don't know, the better half of yesterday watching Minnesota Burns videos. Look, he's a really good entertainer. I like his videos. It's not bad. But what I think, there's nothing really that sticks with me. You know, I guess what you're supposed to, look at me, I'm stuttering, trying to think about my words. If I'm watching a YouTube video and I'm trying to come up with a critique or an opinion about it, I want to approach it like I'm reviewing a book or a movie or anything else. And that means you take it in, step away for an hour, clear your mind, and then you try and remember what's left. What sticks with you? A really good book or movie or play sticks with you, you know? You're still thinking about some of the themes. You're working through things in your head. You're wondering where the characters are right now after the final scene. When it fades to black, you're still wondering about those characters and what they're doing. So that's when you know something's really good. So I've cleansed my palate. I'm thinking about Minnesota Burns. And the only thing that sticks with me are some of his hate mail videos. Not the making people rage, because he does that. He goes into like some one-on-ones with people, or he just exposes some of the, I don't know, misplaced condensation that exists from some gamers. They just want to put everybody else down. Whoever's leading the match with the most kills all of a sudden is they're the big fish in that little lobby pond, and they want you to know it. And everybody else is beneath them. It's their moment in time to exact revenge on everyone who's ever put them down. It's almost as if everybody else is their father, and they're finally getting to tell their father, "You don't know everything. When I grow up, I'm not going to be like you." There seems to be a little of that. Maybe child psychologists just spend a lot of time not worried about the violence aspect, but just seeing some of these other things play out online when these kids get into parties. Because everybody's faceless, right? Seemingly anonymous with gamer tags like NPXLX, Nerd Lover 185 Unicorn. I don't know what that means, but I mean, that could be somebody's gamer tag. Everybody is seemingly faceless and nameless. There's anonymity to it. And with that, people start projecting. I know I do. I assume that everybody is my age until I notice otherwise. And it's probably the wrong thing to do because they're probably not my age. It's just like how when I'm playing online, people automatically assume, "Oh, I thought you were like in your 20s or you're 18. I'm thinking, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Because believe me, in 10 or more years, I will be depressed. I just will. Midlife crisis is real, bro. It is real. Getting old is not awesome at all. So, going back to the videos and the troll videos, getting back to that, Minnesota Burns and his hate mail. His hate mail stuck with me because I think there was just something about it that spoke to me, and I thought there was a jumping off point. He was talking. He seems to be constantly responding to people who hate his channel. Maybe people he's poked fun at or made fun of. People claim to be hackers, know how to SWAT his house, DDoS him offline. In some of those internet troll techniques, they are illegal. This is what got me thinking. How misplaced some of our attention is online, especially with these YouTube videos. That, why is it that ZexyZek had to get into this predicament with Minecraft in the first place? Why does Goon on Fire have to worry about his video being taken down? These companies only care about making money. And I'm not going to get into some Occupy Wall Street type rant here. Because believe me, my personal political colors are far from that of the typical Occupy Wall Street sympathizer. Yet, I believe they do have some points. Just like there's truth in everything. There's truth in how everybody feels. There's truth in everybody's statement. There's rhetoric. Don't confuse emotion for a valid argument. But look, there's truth in everything. And I believe that these companies are allowing some of the worst behaviors to take place, and they're not addressing it. They know they can get YouTubers to shill for them and promote their products for free. For $8 per every 10,000 clicks, I think is what the going rate is for YouTube videos. I mean, clicks on ads, basically. Not necessarily views, but clicks on ads. There's a ratio to determine how many ads are clicked per how many views. And anyway, it's all boring stuff. You can look that up. But. If Minnesota Burns is actually receiving hate mail that's as descriptive as, I'm going to DDoS you, I'm going to SWAT your house, I have your IP, I know where you live, like real threatening behavior, stuff that you'd want to turn over to the FBI, yet what makes the video game publications is stuff like this ZexyZek guy, because he made a troll video. Or when someone tries to leak some Halo 4 video before the official release, Halo 4 has to come out, 343 or Microsoft has to come out and address the situation. But you have a much worse behavior taking place. Boogie2988, he's talked about it on his YouTube channel. This stuff happens. It's for real. And I promise you, even though, these people are committing felonies, unless you have enough money to hire your own lawyer and go after them, nothing is typically ever done. Minnesota Burns in his video basically, I don't know if this is anecdotal, if it's true or not, but he gave a scenario where he believes this is what's taking place. That these people are threatening competitive MLG players, popular YouTubers, and they're getting followers for their own YouTube channels. They're getting followers on Twitter, on social media, because they're contacting these people and threatening them. They're threatening them with all of these the true nature of being an internet troll. They're threatening them with those techniques. In order to what? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. They shouldn't be allowed to get away with that, clearly. Just because I believe it's unfair or not right, doesn't mean that it's not going to take place or that it will continue. I'm not saying that I want the cops to get more involved, because I don't like cops. I don't think they solve problems. I don't think prisons fix things. If you want to hear a little 2-minute rant on that, I would just suggest look at the war on drugs. Look at how much money is spent on drugs. Look at the insane incarceration rate since the 80s. How many people are in prison for drug-related charges? And then I want you to go to your local middle school or high school and see how long it takes you to buy some weed or some Molly or whatever else you want, because those kids have it. So clearly the laws don't work because the kids have it. My daughter came home from school yesterday. The cop, the police liaison at the school, gives them their speech and health class about whatever. And my daughter asked, well, have you ever busted a kid because he was high at school? The cop said yes. The cops don't keep bad things from happening. The laws don't prevent bad things from happening. Just because it's a felony to DDoS somebody or to SWAT your house doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Okay? People who want to do bad things will do bad things regardless. Okay? That's just fact of life. What I would like to see happen is for influencers online who have more followers than myself, video game reviewers and critics out there with big channels, legacy magazines, things of that nature. I would like to see them come out and actually speak out the real problem with video game trolling. It is not the person that's inside the game forcing a 12-year-old to rage. It's not. What, because the 12-year-old died 9 times in the game? That's harassment now? Honestly. Goon on Fire's videos where he does a funny voice and asks people if they want to meet up and trade guns and basically just taunts them into making fun. Because this is what happens in his videos. People just make fun of him. People react to him and make fun of him. And he sets himself up as the punching bag and they just feed into it. That's trolling. That's something that's wrong. That needs to be in terms of service. With all these things we have to worry about online, video games causing violence, there are real internet trolls, and they don't need video games to be that troll, to be that dickhead, to be that asshole. They're going to do it because, I don't know, their dad beats the shit out of them every other day. I don't know. Their mom's an alcoholic, and they've got 15 different uncles because that's what they call the dude that sleeps over. That kid has an internet connection. Because it's easier for his deadbeat parents to put him in front of a computer and a video game system and ignore the kid than to actually raise him. That kid, who isn't bright to begin with, doesn't really have a future or anybody to support him. He doesn't have anybody there to teach him what right and wrong actually is. And his only form of getting attention, because he has nothing to be proud of, his only form of getting attention is to fuck with you. That's a very narrow hypothetical I just described. But I think it's one that's what makes sense to me. Because I can't imagine well-adjusted people really screwing with others that bad online just for the lulz. I can't imagine. And maybe some do. You do have real bullying. Like I said, whenever I was a kid, growing up and just playing in the backyard and in the woods, you had older kids that would just come by and just take our stuff just for the hell of it. Not that they wanted it. I mean, it's a toy machine gun. What do you want with that? But we got over it. If worse came to worse, you'd run to your dad and you'd say, you're crying. Mom, Dad, Billy from next door, he took my machine gun. And he crushed my base. Me and my friends spent all afternoon building this base and he crushed it. And you know what my father would say? It's all right, come with me. He'd walk me down the street to Billy's house. Knock on the door. Is Billy home? Billy's dad calls for Billy. Billy comes outside. My dad looks at me and says, do you have something to tell him? I'm looking at my dad and he says, well, if you're that pissed, go ahead and settle it right now. And both dads would stand there watching and we'd go at it. And just start throwing punches. And we'd work it out. And a lot of times I didn't come out on top. But it just meant you have an issue with this person. Walk your ass over there. Address it. Put an end to it. Squash it. I don't know. Maybe I'm too old and don't understand what's happening today. I'm wise enough to know that we're not going to look back and go back to those weird-ass, crazy days of building punji pits and sticking your friends in the back with a stick. But, look, you can't ignore it. We can't choose to turn a blind eye to the real bullying and internet trolling that's taking place and then give so much attention to something that's harmless and is just for actual laughs, like ZexyZek's Minecraft videos or Goon on Fire. That's funny. The other stuff isn't. That's my show for today. Thanks for listening. Leave a comment, subscribe, share, tweet. This is one of those days where don't be afraid to have that discussion because sometimes sharing ideas actually helps, right? I mean, Dallas Buyers Club just won, Matthew McConaughey and Jared Leto, Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor. A movie that, I don't know, from reports took about 18 years to make. They had a shoestring budget. People, in the movie business don't want to make movies like that because they feel that the subject matter is a little too taboo. No one will go watch it. It won't make money. But clearly it was an opportunity to discuss some themes and a message that maybe reach some people, advances a larger discussion, which is good. Right now there's talk about how we can't have gay protagonists in video games because publishers are afraid the game won't make as much money. It's hard enough for some of these titles to earn back the $300 million that it costs to make the game. You have to have these discussions. You have to move the conversation forward. No matter what your opinion is or how you feel, it's not going to hurt to discuss it. You may end up changing your mind. I know I have, and I continue to evolve as a person because I can have these discussions. All right, enough of that serious business. Thanks again. I am Gunnar, and this was the Gamers on Tap podcast.